Yo, what is going on? DJ Crowley here in the house once again. It's Sit Down Live from home. And man, we have a very special guest, Mr. Julian of Dub Spencer and Trance Hill, all the way from Switzerland in the house. What's going on?
Hey, very good. Thank you. Thank you for having us, for having me on your show. I'm really looking forward for this interview and hope we can get, talking about stuff that you guys think that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the point. And speaking of interesting, you guys are just so unique and so interesting. For anybody that does not know about Dub Spencer and Trance Hill, tell us a little bit about your project.
Okay, Dub Spencer Trance Hill is actually, like you said, a Swiss-based band. It's a four-piece band. It's guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards, and a whole lot of FX. Um, Yeah, and what we basically do is we play dub music in a live context, which is a little bit of special because dub music is actually it's actually not a band music. It's like a music that's for the mixing desk, and so that's what we do. We play it live. We play it live on stage since a lot of years, and we're actually inspired by dub music. So when we turn it around, because I mean, dub artists they used to turn it around first, and so we turn it back and play it live. That's what the project's about.
Yeah, just doing something different. There's the dub scene is huge all over the world, but the
Mm-hmm.
live dub acts are somewhat rare. What pulled you in that direction to be like, you know what, we're gonna do a live dub band?
I think I mean, the four of us, we are musicians and we all play live. We come from very different corners. We come from jazz corners, funk corners, rock corners. We have actually only the keyboard player who's actually really roots kind of dub reggae head. And we know we wanna perform live. And I could tell you maybe later also some influences we have, some bands that we really love. That we made up that concept that we said, okay, we want to play this music live because we want to perform it. Because whenever a DJ is around, I mean that's really cool, and DJ music is very very nice. You can dance to it, but the people always watch the DJ, and we say, okay, we can do this live. We can do this with real instruments with no singer and just perform like we would be a DJ, but we're doing this right now. And people actually started appreciating that, and we figured out that's going to work. That's how we came up with this concept. Plus, we were all musicians that had played in many, many bands before we came together. So we knew about the whole experience, and we knew what it needs to do a whole, a show, that it works on a stage and everything like that.
So there was one thing you guys were talking about. You guys talk about diving into a groove. How do you
Mhm.
dive into a groove?
How do you dive into a groove? Well, I guess you just repeat it long enough, and try to get that groove right. I mean, you just don't leave it until it fits. Actually, that's the secret. Just keep doing it. I see you have our new album in the background here. So it's like yeah. So it's a little bit the new album. I mean, we probably will talk about it later. It's more a little bit into trance music, and that's actually where at least I come from with former bands. And the whole thing about trance and also dub actually is it's about repetition. So you grooving is nothing more than repeat things and just change little things to go on. Don't change too much at the same time, like in songs. I mean, if you play songs, you go to bridge, you go to chorus, the chords change, everything changes. And I think to dive into groove means not to change too many things at the time, and then get into it. Just get your way along the groove. That I think that's what it's about.
That sounds about right. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, Switzerland's in the house. Julian of Dub Spencer and Trance Hill. You're late if you're just tuning in, but it's all good, man. Let's talk about it. Imago Cells. What a cool name for a record. I was reading up on it, and if you guys see the butterfly in the background, Imago
Yeah.
cells are actually the cells that are only activated in the chrysalis, right, of the cocoon or whatever, the butterfly, when the metamorphosis, the change is happening. Tell us about this brand new record.
Well, actually, it has several how do you say layers, on that title. The first is, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys know Bud Spencer and Terence Hill?
Yeah, is it the movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
So it's actually our band name, It's like it's
yeah.
based on these two spaghetti western actors that everybody actually, I'm surprised that you guys know it, but it's cool because in Europe this is a big thing, Everybody who grew up in the I don't know in the 80s like we did knew these two actors and these spaghetti western movies. So they're really positive. And I mean our band founder Marcel, who's the bass player, he was like, just doing these things like, okay, it's like instead of Bud Spencer, it's Dub Spencer, and it's not Terence Hill, it's Trance Hill. So we have these two names, Dub and Trance, these two words in our band name, but we always defined ourselves more in the direction of dub reggae. And live, we always, we did some trance elements where we get more four on the floor and play a little bit more, dive into the groove, change not that much thing, and stay in this psychedelic trance thing. That's what we did a lot. And then we thought, okay, we want to do an album that's taking this music to a record now. So that's what we did. And actually, that's the metaphor that's behind it, because like you said, the imago cells are just, they're waiting, they're waiting inside of the caterpillar. And then whenever the metamorphosis starts, they come out and their function starts then. So they have slept in the animal and then come out. So that's kind of what our band name was doing. It was the
Yeah.
trance word was in it. So we tried to put that out and give this record a whole other direction. It's, I mean, you probably listen to it, and it's more in a four on the floor trance mood. It still has these offbeats and a lot of one drops on it, and it reminds you, and the technique is still dub, and it's still played all live, but it goes more into this direction. That's probably the first layer, and there's some other ones that more like maybe in a political way, that we're not very a political band, but it's always it's also the image of making things better than before. It's also used in terms of, okay, overcome a system, and then because those cells, they actually, that's actually an important point. Those cells, they just get active when they start working together. So they have to build a network to actually get activated. We just found this is a good image and a good it's a good thought, actually.
It is. We're now. I didn't know that. The only way it works if it's working together. I mean, well, that's the only way a band will work. You got to work
Yeah,
together, and
that's right.
you know.
That's right. And actually, the cells also at the beginning, when they activate themselves, they get, they're being fought by the immune system. Is that the right word?
Yeah, yeah.
Like from the caterpillar. So it like they fight against it until they, start connecting, and then they overcome the old system. So that's a little bit another metaphor that's behind it. But I think the first one is more important for us.
Yeah, and another cool thing about the record, we've dove into your discography. If you guys don't know, man, you are late, and we were obviously late too, because you guys have been doing this for over a decade now. You still keep your sound. I mean,
Yeah.
I listened to the Deep Dive Dove and a couple of the other catalogs in your collection, and it's still you guys. It's just this evolution. What a perfect name, Imago Cells. How can people find this new music and find you real quick before we move on?
can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Instagram and even on Facebook. We're still on Facebook, and you can find it all in I don't know, Deezer, Apple Music Store. You can even order actually vinyls and CDs from our distributor in France, and also on our webpage. We actually also deliver. We send out vinyls to the States every week, actually.
Yep, we got one prime example right here. Great,
Okay.
absolutely. By the way, great quality of production on the record. I want to move forward. Speaking of this production, you're working with Echo Beach,
Yeah.
just a premier dub label, dub syndicate. Stuart Copeland, among others. Tell us a little bit about the label and how you found them.
Well, actually, when we founded the band about almost 16 or I think 17, 18 years ago, I mean, yeah, 2006, then actually Echo Beach discovered us, and we said, okay, we're going to do the first album with Echo Beach. For us, this was a real big thing because, I mean, Echo Beach was one of the, I mean, is the probably most important dub label in Europe.
Big time.
And discovered Seed, which is a really big reggae band in Germany. And so we did the first album. And actually, Nikolai Beveron, who is actually the head of Echo Beach, he led us over all the, I think it's 12 or 13 albums we did with him. He let us all the freedom all the time. He was just always surprised when we get a new album. And first he was always asking, what, you guys really want to do that? And he said, yeah, we want to do that. And then he said, okay, let's do it. And it's every time it's, I mean, that's a little bit our thing, you know, we try to do always new things. We try to develop new styles, or we always give themes to our albums, or try to, you know, to get just a story behind it. We develop the sound actually all the time. It's not just staying dub roots, or, you know, like now it's going into a trance set. We started actually out with this spaghetti western dub image, which is, I can probably understand, or I don't know, I assume from a United States option, is like, it's probably a little bit like this. How would you get like this western thing together with dub? But
Yeah.
in Europe it works actually. I don't know, is this working for you also, like the western thing with the Jamaican dub root? I mean, it's
Yeah, well,
opposite.
it's a mix. You
It's
know, it's a mix. It's a mix of you know, two of my favorite things. You know, electronic music and dub, and you know, it's just it's some, you know, this music is all over the world, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about just the idea of dub and reggae and
Mhm.
the genre specific a little bit later on. But I do want to talk about where you're from in Switzerland and the scene in Switzerland. Tell us about the music and the vibe and the artists of Switzerland.
Okay, Switzerland is very, very small. There's 8 million people in Switzerland, but we have quite a huge music scene, which is probably has to be seen larger. You know, in Europe, everything is close together. So we're close. Our neighbor country is France. We have Germany in north. We have Italy in south. We have Austria, which is also, it's also very small, but from Austria comes a lot of very good electronic dance music, actually. So and it's very, very diverse. So it's not that we have a big reggae scene or a big dub scene, not at all. We don't have any dub scene in Switzerland, but we have in Europe I'd say a small dub scene with different bands, especially from France. France is also bigger in reggae than Switzerland, so we actually get our influences there. And I think in Switzerland we have, I think I can say that we have like 5 major music universities where a lot of good people actually come out and do crazy stuff. And I'm talking about from, you know, free jazz to very crazy heavy metal rock music. And if you listen to our music, you can also see and hear that the 4 people of our band, we come from very, very different corners. We have, I mean, our guitar player is more like he comes from the rock side, and like I said, the keyboard is the reggae guy, and I myself, my roots are in jazz, big band, or funk music. So that's very diverse, and I think you don't just you're not just in one scene. You're because everything is so close. You can switch to another thing. I mean, I myself, I'm a professional drummer. I play folk music as well as jazz music. As I mean, this is my main band, and Dub Spencer and Trance Hill. But we everybody does different stuff.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It's Switzerland and European scene. It's not just one scene. It's a lot of things going on in a very small, compact place. But there's some really good things going on. I'm a huge fan of Dub FX. He's
Yeah.
originally Australia, but all over Europe all the time. Dub Inc. from France, just incredible as well. And that's what everybody out there that's listening, especially here in the States. There is so much more reggae, especially in dub, going on outside of the States. People, when they're in their own country, they're just like, oh, well, this is all there is. No, always explore, always explore.
But I have to tell you, my absolute favorite band that I think had a big influence on the sound of Dub Spencer, or even on the idea of doing a live dub band, is a band from the United States. It's the New York-based band Dub Trio.
Yep, I was just gonna you were just gonna pull me right into that. One of my favorites as well.
Okay, that's cool. I saw them live several times. They were here in Switzerland. I saw them in the States. And I think I was in the States, in New York, in 2006, actually, just before I got into Dub Spencer and Trance Hill, and saw them in Brooklyn somewhere in a bar. And I think, okay, this is really cool. They can do dub music. They can do all these echoes and delays really in real time, live, with pedals and everything. And they have no singer. They just do groove music. That's what I want to do, and I think they inspired me, really. Yeah.
Shout out to Dub Trio. I mean, just an incredibly talented. I mean, the musicianship with
Yeah.
Dave and everybody, I mean, is just ridiculously good. And I can see that. I can see that with you guys. There's a lot of talent musically. And Dub Trio, man, they actually did their thing for many years, and then they went as Modest Yahoo's backing band for a while, and that's how I met them, and I saw them, and I was like, whoa, oh, these guys are special. Hey, we got a few. Go ahead.
Their early things. I mean, they actually turned a little bit into a metal band afterwards. They really got technical. And I like the first ones a lot more when they experimented a lot with dub music,
Yeah, I mean, they got hard, like hard.
They got hard,
yeah. And it's cool to go different directions. Why not? Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're real late. We got Dub Spencer and Trance Hill. We got Julian in the house, man. Switzerland. We're talking across the pond in Europe. We always love when we have the opportunity to link up with our European friends. And we got a few more questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here. The great Lee Scratch Perry passed away recently. Tell us about working with Lee Scratch, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, there was once, I think it was a couple of years ago. I mean, the funny thing is that Lee Scratch Perry actually lived in Switzerland. I don't know if everybody knows that, but he lived in Switzerland. He had a wife here and a house, and he always was here in the summer, and in the winter he went to Jamaica. He even did albums with Swiss artists, and I mean, we knew that, but he was not quite part of the scene, because he was like, he's a world star, and Lee Scratch Perry, you don't see him around, So we just said, okay, hey, we need to do something with him. So we actually invited him, and we did one gig with him in Zurich. Really, that was quite a big thing, actually. And basically, it was not more than a jam. So he just came, and we actually booked him, and we we jammed together this night, but it was really epic. It was so cool because this guy was then, I think it was 5 years ago or something like that. And he was 80 at that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, an old man, but still he came out there on stage. And what impressed me at that point was that he exactly understood the music that we played, and he understood uh, the bows we want to do. He knows when he has to, to get into the music, and when he stops and then let us play for maybe 5 minutes, didn't do anything, and then come at the right time, and jump in. You have to feel that. It's not that easy. It's not, and you could see that he's an absolute pro, and he's actually the inventor of this music. So for us, this is like, it was a real big thing to get to know him. Actually, we also had a really good party afterwards. It was fun, and yeah, he passed away a year ago, actually, or no, not even a year ago. I think it was half a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, about 6-7 months ago. Yeah.
Yes, and then we were planning another gig with him, but it didn't happen now. But this was, and I mean, Lee Perry is together with like people like King Tubby. This is the roots. This is the inventor of the music. Very, very creative guy, really.
Yeah. And you keep taking the words out of my mouth. I love it. A true pro. I mean, from stage presence to the feel to production. I mean, he's still releasing music, and he's passed away every week.
Yeah.
I mean,
how do you do that?
I don't know. I guess his wife, or I don't know. It's just insane. I'll bet you that was such a magical experience. I'll bet you that party afterwards was an interesting one too.
Yeah, and actually, because you were asking about how you can find our music, we have 2 videos, I think, from this gig on our YouTube channel, where you can actually see how he fits into. Actually, one is a reggae dub roots tune, and the other one is actually already it's called Trance on Hill. It's a trance tune, so he also tries to get along with that one, which he did really good, actually.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. to one of the originals, man. Lee Scratch Perry. Hey, we got one more a few more questions, and then we're gonna get you out of here. Dub Spencer and Trance Hill is the name of the act, and they're from Switzerland. We got Julian here. What's coming up? What is coming up for Dub Spencer and Trance Hill? I know you got a couple shows coming up.
That's actually a good question. I can't tell you because no, really, because we just did this record now that came out a couple of weeks ago, and I think we never worked so hard on this one because there was the Corona crisis, and we had like 2 years of time, to create this. We actually never practiced that much for a record. We just went into the studio, jammed, invented stuff, then go out, recorded, and it was never a big deal. But this one took us a lot of time because we changed the sound a little bit. Our guitar player changed all his pedal boards. I don't know what he did, but the sound is very, very different. And actually now we want to play this. We have some gigs, a tour in Europe now until December. We want to play that. And what I really liked to do, I mean, this is why we did this album. We would also like to get, to get to other festivals than reggae dub festivals. We would also love to play gigs like, I don't know, at festivals like the Boom Festival in Portugal, or I don't know, the Burning Man in the States, or whatever.
Yes.
Just like trance festivals, that because we know with this sound we can go in other directions. Maybe the next album will be a roots dub album again, because we love to play this music too. I can't tell you. I think you have to ask me in half a year when we come together and do our, are ready to compose. Now we want to play this thing that we worked so hard for in so long time. Yeah.
Well, it's a masterpiece. The record's right here. You guys need to check it out. Dub Spencer, Trance Hill, and Mago Cells. Check out the whole discography on Spotify and all the different outlets. There's so many different streaming outlets, but really, man, just get the physical. If you have a chance, get the record. It's just sounds just so crispy and warm. That bass from Marseille, it's just absolutely a groove. We really appreciate you, Julian, calling all the way from Switzerland to our little tiny town in the hills of Tennessee, man. It's been a great chat.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Ab-
having us. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, last question here. Every
Yeah.
time I interview an artist, the first time I interview them, they always get the same question. So once again, Imago sells the new record, Dub Spencer and Trance Hill. You better check it out. They know how to get into a groove for sure. And hopefully we'll see you in the States someday. What does reggae mean to you?
What does reggae mean to me? Actually, reggae to me is reggae to me is actually universal. To me, it is one of the music styles, I could say probably next to jazz, that's endless, will never die. And it's one of the maybe most underestimated, but most important styles in also modern music. And it's, I mean, the compositions of some big reggae artists are just, I just don't know the English word now, but they are unique and eternal. Actually, that's what I want to say.
It's beautiful. Everyone always has a different answer. You know, Ben from Dub FX said reggae is the future. Reggae dub is the future. I thought that was a really cool one.
Okay, that's a really cool one. Actually,
Yeah.
I said that 5 years ago too.
Oh, well, you said it first then. Julian said it first.
No, because there's a lot of, I mean, you probably remember like 5 or 10 years ago, a lot of like big of the pop artists went into reggae music, and actually that's already over again. But still, I think I mean reggae is like it's unique. It will never die. It's like I mean the songs of Bob Marley. I mean these are probably the biggest hits ever. We were actually the other day after a gig, we were asking each other who wrote bigger hits, maybe the Beatles, I don't know, and other, but Marley is, I mean, this is like one of the
King.
biggest hits. Yeah.
Yeah. Julian, it's been such a wonderful chat. I hope to see you come to the States someday. Let's keep in touch. Everybody out there, check out this band. It's called Dub Spencer and Trance Hill, the legends of the European dub scene, diving more into trance. Who knows where they go next? I'll bet you it's going to be good. Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much, Alex.
Peace and love.